No water for beggars. Get out, before I make you get out. Manager Rachel Thornton stood in the doorway of Meridian Bistro, arms crossed, blocking the entrance. Her voice carried across the patio, where 30 diners turned to watch. The man at the door was black, maybe 50s, wearing worn clothes, dirt on his face, a backpack that had seen better days. He held up his hands, palms out, non-threatening. "Ma'am, I just need some water. It's 94 degrees. I've been walking all day." "We don't serve people like you." Rachel's lip curled. "This is a high-end establishment. You're driving away paying customers just by standing there." "I'm not asking for food. Just tap water, please." I said no. Rachel pulled out her phone. "You have 10 seconds to leave or I'm calling the police. And trust me, they'll make sure you never come back to this block." The man looked past her into the restaurant. Air conditioning. Crystal glasses filled with ice water on every table. People in expensive clothes eating $40 entrees, not even looking up from their phones. He met Rachel's eyes again. "You're really going to call the cops on me for asking for water?" 9 seconds. "In this heat? When I'm just thirsty?" 8 seconds. "Don't test me." The man nodded slowly, stepped back from the door. "Okay, I'll leave." Rachel watched him walk away, satisfied. She turned back to her diners with a bright smile. "So sorry for the interruption, everyone. Just a homeless person. We've got it handled." What Rachel Thornton didn't know, that homeless person was James Mitchell, owner of Mitchell Properties. He owned the building Meridian Bistro rented. He owned the entire city block. He owned 40% of downtown real estate worth $300 million. And he just made a decision about Rachel's future, one that would cost her everything. Have you ever judged someone's worth by their appearance, only to discover you just destroyed your own life? 8 hours earlier, James Mitchell stood in his penthouse bathroom looking at his reflection. Tailored suit, expensive watch, fresh haircut, the image of success. He took it all off. Pulled on old jeans with holes in the knees, a faded t-shirt with stains, worn sneakers with the sole separating. He messed up his hair, rubbed dirt on his face and hands, grabbed a beat-up backpack. His wife Sarah appeared in the doorway. After 25 years of marriage, she still hated when he did this. "James, you don't have to keep testing people like this." "Yes, I do." He looked at her through the mirror. "I need to know who we're promoting, who's running our properties, who represents our values. You could just interview them." "People lie in interviews. They say what you want to hear." James turned to face her. "But when they think you're powerless, that's when you see who they really are?" Sarah sighed. She knew this argument. They'd had it 100 times. James had grown up homeless, ages 12 to 16 after his mother died, and the foster system lost track of him. 4 years sleeping in doorways, digging through trash, begging for food. He remembered every person who'd helped him, the restaurant owner who'd given him free meals, the librarian who'd let him sleep in the stacks, the teacher who'd fought to get him back in school, and he remembered everyone who'd hurt him, the cops who'd beaten him for loitering, the store owners who'd called him vermin, the people who'd looked through him like he didn't exist. Now, at 52, James was worth $300 million. He'd built an empire through real estate, property management, and commercial development. He owned 40 buildings in downtown, including some of the city's most prestigious addresses, but he never forgot what it felt like to be invisible, to be treated like trash because of how you looked. So once a quarter, he did this. Dressed as a homeless man, visited his properties, tested his tenants, his managers, his staff. How do you treat someone who can't do anything for you? That answer told him everything he needed to know. "Today's test is Meridian Bistro," James said. "The lease is up for renewal in 30 days. I need to decide if they stay or go. And you're testing the manager, Rachel Thornton?" "Her and the staff. I've heard complaints. Want to see for myself. Sarah walked to him, straightened his deliberately messy collar. Be careful. You know how cops treat black men who look homeless. I know. James kissed her forehead. That's why Marcus is following me. Marcus Chen, James's head of security, was already in position in an unmarked car with cameras rolling. Every test was documented for legal protection. James left the penthouse at 11:30 a.m., took the service elevator down to avoid being recognized by building staff, walked 6 blocks to Meridian Bistro in the summer heat. By the time he arrived, he was sweating, disheveled, exactly what he needed to be. Meridian Bistro sat on the ground floor of the Morrison Building, one of James's premium properties. High-end restaurant, expensive wine list, clientele that averaged $200 per meal. Rachel Thornton had managed it for 3 years. The restaurant was profitable, reviews were good, but James had received complaints from delivery drivers about her attitude, from kitchen staff about her treatment of lesser employees, from one diner who said she'd thrown out a homeless veteran who'd wandered in looking confused. Time to see for himself. James approached the entrance at 11:58 a.m. The lunch rush was starting. Diners filled the patio tables under elegant umbrellas. Everyone was white, everyone was well-dressed, everyone belonged, except him. He stood at the host stand, waited. A young woman looked up, Emily Rodriguez, 19, college student. I'm working part-time. Her name tag said host. Emily's eyes widened when she saw him. Can I help you? Could I get some water, please? Just tap water. It's really hot out. Emily glanced toward the kitchen, nervous. Let me ask my manager. She disappeared inside. James waited, counting the seconds. 45 seconds later, Rachel Thornton appeared. That's when everything went wrong. No water for beggars. Get out, before I make you get out. Rachel's voice was loud, deliberate, making a show for the diners. James saw Emily standing behind Rachel, looking uncomfortable. He saw a busboy at a nearby table pause, watching. Ma'am, I just need some water. It's 94 degrees. I've been walking all day. We don't serve people like you. Rachel stepped forward, crowding him. This is a high-end establishment. Yeah, you're driving away, paying customers just by standing there. A white woman at a nearby table whispered to her companion, someone should call the police. Another diner nodded approvingly at Rachel. Good for her. Can't have these people harassing customers. James stayed calm. I'm not asking for food, just tap water, please. I said no. Rachel pulled out her phone. You have 10 seconds to leave or I'm calling the police. James glanced at the diners. 30 people eating and drinking. Not one spoke up. Not one said, just give him some water. You're really going to call the cops on me for asking for water? 9 seconds. In this heat? When I'm just thirsty? 8 seconds. Don't test me. James stepped back. Okay, I'll leave. But as he turned, Emily rushed forward with a plastic cup of water. Here, she said quietly, all pressing it into his hands. I'm sorry about... Emily. Rachel's voice cracked like a whip. What do you think you're doing? Emily flinched. I was just giving him water. It's 94 degrees. Get inside, now. We'll discuss your insubordination after lunch service. Emily looked at James, apology in her eyes, then hurried inside. The busboy who'd been watching, a young black man named Dante, maybe 20, moved toward a water pitcher at a nearby station. Rachel caught the movement. Dante, don't even think about it. Get back to work. Dante froze, jaw clenched, but returned to clearing tables. James took a sip of the water Emily had given him. Thank you, he called after her, though she was already gone. He looked at Rachel one more time. I hope you never need someone's kindness when you have nothing to offer in return. Rachel laughed. Trust me, I'll never be like you. James walked away, but he didn't go far. He circled around to the alley behind the restaurant where the kitchen entrance opened, sat down against the wall in the shade, drank the water slowly. Marcus's voice came through the tiny earpiece James wore. "Boss, I got everything on camera. Clear audio. Want me to pull you out?" "Not yet. I want to see who else comes out." 20 minutes passed. James sat in the alley, observing. Kitchen staff came out for smoke breaks. None acknowledged him. A delivery driver dropped off supplies, stepped over James's legs without a word. Then the back door opened, and Dante appeared, carrying a paper bag and a large cup. He looked around nervously, then approached James. "Hey, man, I can't give you much, but—" Dante handed over the bag. Inside, a sandwich, an apple, now some chips. The cup was filled with ice water. "It's from my lunch break. I was going to eat it, but you probably need it more." James looked at the young man's face. Kindness. Genuine humanity. "You don't have to do this." "Yeah, I do. My uncle was homeless for 2 years. I remember what it was like. People treating him like dirt." Dante's voice was quiet. "I can't do much, but I can share my lunch. Your manager will be mad if she finds out." "Probably, but I can't not help. You know?" James nodded. "What's your name?" "Dante Williams." "How long you been working here, Dante?" 8 months, saving for college. Got accepted to state, but scholarships don't cover everything. Working here and 2 other jobs." "3 jobs?" "Gotta do what you gotta do." Dante shrugged. "Look, I gotta get back before Rachel notices. Take care of yourself." Man. He disappeared back inside. James ate the sandwich slowly. It was good. Clearly made with care from ingredients Dante had paid for himself. Marcus's voice. "Boss, that kid just gave you his lunch." "I know. Add him to the list." "The good list or the bad list?" "The best list." Another 30 minutes. James finished eating, stayed in the alley. Testing complete, but he wanted to see what happened to Emily. At 2:15 p.m., Emily came out the back door crying. She wasn't in her uniform anymore. She'd been fired. James stood, approached carefully. "Hey, you okay?" Emily jumped, then recognized him. "Oh, you're still here. I'm sorry you got in trouble. That wasn't right. Rachel fired me, said I violated company policy by serving an unauthorized person." Emily wiped her eyes. "I needed this job. I'm paying my own way through school. My parents can't help. And financial aid doesn't cover everything. You did the right thing. Doesn't feel like it. I'm unemployed, and I have rent due in 2 weeks." Emily looked at him. "I'm sorry. You probably have bigger problems than hearing about mine. Your problems matter too." Emily pulled out her wallet, took out a $20 bill. "Here, I know it's not much, but maybe it'll help." James stared at the money. This girl had just been fired, was worrying about rent, and she was trying to give him $20. "I can't take that. Please, you need it more than I do." James took the money not because he needed it, but because refusing would have hurt her dignity. "Thank you. You're a good person, Emily. Try to stay cool, okay?" She walked away, shoulders slumped, future uncertain. James watched her go, then pulled out his phone. Called his office directly. "Christina, it's James. I need legal to draft 2 immediate termination letters. I need HR to prepare 3 employment contracts, and I need you to call Detective Sarah Martinez. I'm about to have an encounter with police that needs to be documented." "Sir, what's happening?" "Rachel Thornton is about to call the cops on me, and I want everything on record before I reveal who I am." Because James had learned something over 25 years of testing people. The ones who treated him worst when they thought he was powerless were the same ones who'd abuse their employees, cheat their customers, and destroy their businesses given time. Rachel Thornton had failed the test spectacularly. Now came the consequences. James returned to the front of Meridian Bistro at 3 p.m. The lunch rush was ending, but about 15 diners remained on the patio. He sat down on the sidewalk near the entrance, not blocking anything, not bothering anyone, just sitting. Within 3 minutes, Rachel appeared. I told you to leave. I'm on public property. Sidewalk's not yours. You're loitering. That's illegal. Sitting isn't loitering. Rachel's face reddened. She pulled out her phone, dialed 911. Yes, I need police at Meridian Bistro on Morrison Street. There's a homeless man harassing my customers. He's been here all day. I've asked him to leave multiple times, and he refuses. I feel threatened. James heard every word, especially the last part. I feel threatened. The magic words that could get a black man killed. Marcus's voice in his earpiece. Boss, ED Police Dispatch shows 2 units responding. ETA 4 minutes. You sure about this? I'm sure. Keep recording. James knew what was coming, knew how this looked. Black man, homeless appearance, white woman claiming she felt threatened. He'd seen how this ended on the news too many times, but he also knew Detective Sarah Martinez would be reviewing everything afterward. Knew his lawyer was on standby. Knew Marcus had multiple camera angles recording. Sometimes you had to let the system show exactly what it was before you could fix it. The police arrived in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. 2 white officers, mid-30s, hands near their weapons as they approached. Sir, we got a call about you harassing customers. James kept his hands visible, didn't make sudden movements. I'm sitting on a public sidewalk. Haven't bothered anyone. The first officer, name tag Morrison, looked at Rachel. Ma'am, is this the individual? Yes, he's been here all day, begging for money, intimidating customers. I've asked him to leave repeatedly. I asked for water once, James said calmly. Then I left. Then I came back and sat down. Haven't asked anyone for anything since. Morrison ignored him, focused on Rachel. Has he threatened you physically? I feel threatened by his presence. Morrison turned back to James. Sir, I need you to stand up and show me your ID. James stood slowly, reached for his wallet, hands where I can see them. The second officer, Carter, pulled his weapon. James froze, hands out. My ID is in my back pocket. I'm just getting my wallet. Slowly, 2 fingers only, James pulled out his wallet carefully. Inside, his driver's license, his black American Express card, and a business card that read, James Mitchell, CEO, Mitchell Properties. Morrison took the wallet, examined the license. His eyebrows raised slightly as he read the address. The most expensive building in the city. Sir, this says you live in the Platinum Tower penthouse. That's correct. Morrison showed the license to Carter, who lowered his weapon slightly but didn't holster it. This doesn't make sense, Morrison said. Why are you dressed like this? Like what? Like a homeless person? James's voice stayed calm. Because I wanted to see how people treat someone who appears homeless. Turns out, not great. Rachel stepped forward. That's a fake ID. He's obviously lying. Morrison pulled out the business card, studied it. Ma'am, do you know what building you're in? The Morrison building. Why? And do you know who owns it? Rachel hesitated. Some property company. Mitchell Properties. Morrison looked at James. Sir, are you telling me you own this building? I own this building and 39 others in downtown, including the land this restaurant sits on. The color drained from Rachel's face. Carter finally holstered his weapon. Sir, can you verify this? I mean, no offense, but I look homeless. So I must be lying? James pulled out his phone. Call my office. Christina Walker, executive assistant. Numbers on the card. Morrison made the call on speaker. It rang twice. Mitchell Properties, Christina Walker speaking. Ms. Walker, this is Officer Morrison with CPD. I have a man here claiming to be James Mitchell. Can you verify? Is he safe? Christina's voice went sharp. We've been monitoring. Has anyone heard him? No, ma'am. We're just verifying identity. Put him on. Morrison handed the phone to James. Christina, I'm fine. No injuries. I need you to conference in our legal team and Detective Martinez. Things are about to get interesting. Already done. They're on the line now. James looked at Rachel, whose face had gone from angry to terrified. Ms. Thornton, you called the police on your landlord for sitting on the sidewalk outside your restaurant. I didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't ask. You saw someone you thought was powerless and decided they didn't deserve basic human dignity. By now, every diner on the patio was watching, phones out, recording. I'm sorry, Rachel stammered. If I'd known who you were, that's the problem. James's voice rose for the first time. You should treat everyone with dignity. Not just people who can help your career. Not just people who look like your customers. Everyone. Morrison and Carter exchanged glances, realizing they'd walked into something much bigger than a loitering call. Officers, James said, I'd like to file a complaint. Ms. Thornton made a false 911 call claiming she felt threatened. I never approached her, never threatened her, never did anything except sit on a public sidewalk. She weaponized your presence against a black man who she thought couldn't defend himself. Rachel's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. James continued. I'd also like to press charges for filing a false police report. She claimed I was begging for money. I wasn't. She claimed I was harassing customers. I wasn't. She lied to get you here to intimidate me. Morrison pulled out his notepad, started writing. This had just become official. Christina's voice came through the phone, now on speaker. Mr. Mitchell, I have David Cohen from Legal on the line. Miss Thornton, a new voice said, Cohen, Mitchell Properties head attorney. As of this moment, Meridian Bistro's lease is terminated for cause. You have 30 days to vacate the premises. Additionally, we're pursuing legal action for defamation and discriminatory practices. Rachel grabbed the phone from Morrison's hand. You can't do this. We have a lease agreement. Cohen's voice was clinical. Your lease includes a clause prohibiting discriminatory conduct on the premises. You violated that clause when you refused service based on perceived economic status and when you filed a false police report targeting a black man. The termination is legal and immediate. But this is my business, my career. Should have thought of that before you treated human beings like trash. The diners on the patio were recording everything. Within an hour, this would be viral. Morrison handed James back his wallet and phone. Sir, I apologize for the confusion. Do you want to file formal charges? Before James could answer, Dante appeared from inside the restaurant, still in his busboy uniform. Wait, you're James Mitchell? James turned. Hello again, Dante. The guy I gave lunch to, that was you, the James Mitchell. The one who owns this building, yes. Dante looked like he might faint. I gave a billionaire my turkey sandwich. Best turkey sandwich I've ever had. Thank you for that. Rachel found her voice again. You set me up. This was a trap. No, James said quietly. This was a test. One you failed. Emily passed. Dante passed. You failed? Who's Emily? Morrison asked. The hostess, Miss Thornton, fired this afternoon for giving me a cup of water. Cohen's voice came through the phone again. We'll be contacting Emily Rodriguez with an employment offer. Legal will be in touch, Miss Thornton. Officers, have a good day. The call ended. Rachel stood on the patio of a restaurant that was no longer hers, surrounded by diners recording her downfall, facing a billionaire she'd tried to have arrested. Please, she whispered, please don't do this. I have bills. I have rent. I need this job. James looked at her for a long moment. You know what Emily said to me after you fired her? She said she needed the job. Needed it to pay rent, to finish school. And then she tried to give me $20 because she thought I needed it more. He stepped closer. You fired her for showing kindness. You called the police on me for existing. You treated both of us like we were worthless. I'm sorry. You're sorry you got caught. Not sorry for what you did. James turned to Morrison. Yes, I want to press charges. All of them. Morrison nodded, approached Rachel. Ma'am, I need you to come with us. As Rachel was led away, the restaurant's head chef appeared, confused by the commotion. What's happening? Where's Rachel? Rachel no longer works here, James said. As of now, this restaurant is closed, pending new management. All staff will receive 2 weeks paid leave while we sort things out. Dante. The young man jumped. Yes, sir? Come with me. We need to talk about your future. The aftermath. Within 4 hours, the video had 800,000 views. The diner who'd recorded Rachel calling 911 had posted it with the caption, "Manager calls cops on homeless black man. Turns out he owns the building. Justice served." The comments exploded. The way she said, "I feel threatened," trying to get him hurt by cops. Evil. He was just sitting there. Just sitting. And she called the police. Then she cried when she found out he had power. Typical. The fact that he tested them by pretending to be powerless shows what kind of man he is. News outlets picked it up by evening. Billionaire goes undercover as homeless man, exposes discrimination. James didn't do interviews. He didn't need to. The video spoke for itself, but he did make one phone call. Emily Rodriguez? Yes? This is James Mitchell. We met this afternoon at Meridian Bistro. Emily's voice went quiet. Oh my God, I saw the video. That was you. I gave water to... Oh my God. You did more than give me water. You showed me who you are when you think nobody important is watching. That's character. I couldn't not help. You needed water. I'd like to offer you a position. Not as a hostess, as assistant manager of community relations for Mitchell Properties, $65,000 salary, full benefits, tuition reimbursement for your remaining college courses. Silence. Then, are you serious? Completely? You're exactly the kind of person I want representing my company, someone who treats everyone with dignity. Emily started crying. Yes, I accept, thank you. The next call was to Dante. Dante Williams? Mr. Mitchell, sir, relax. I'm calling with an offer. You said you're working 3 jobs to pay for college? Yes, sir. Not anymore. I'm giving you a full scholarship, 4 years, all expenses. In exchange, you work 15 hours a week in our properties management training program. When you graduate, you'll have a job waiting. Entry-level management, $55,000 to start. Dante's voice broke. Sir, I don't know what to say. Say yes? Yes, God, yes, thank you. 1 week later, Rachel Thornton was charged with filing a false police report. The case made headlines. She pleaded guilty to avoid trial. Sentence: 200 hours community service at a homeless shelter, $2,500 fine, and a permanent record. No restaurant in the city would hire her. Her reputation was destroyed. The video had 5 million views, and her name was permanently attached to it. Meridian Bistro reopened 3 weeks later under new management. The new manager, Dante's mother, Maria Williams, who had 20 years of restaurant experience, but had always been passed over for management positions. Emily Rodriguez became one of Mitchell Properties' most valuable employees, creating programs to help homeless individuals find housing and employment. Dante graduated college in 3 years with a business degree and became the youngest property manager in the company's history. 6 months later, James did the test again. Different property, different restaurant. This time, every employee who saw him brought water without being asked. The manager came out personally to offer him a meal. Word had spread, and every Mitchell Properties tenant knew the story, knew the test was real, knew their landlord might be watching. Most importantly, they knew what happened to people who failed. James never had to dress homeless again. The threat of the test was enough, but he kept doing it anyway, because he never forgot what it felt like to be invisible, to be treated like trash, to need help and be denied basic humanity. And because finding people like Emily and Dante, people who helped when they thought nobody was watching, made everything worthwhile. James Mitchell proved something every person needs to understand. How you treat people who can't do anything for you reveals everything about your character. Rachel Thornton saw a homeless man and called the police. Emily Rodriguez saw a thirsty human and gave him water. Dante Williams saw someone hungry and shared his lunch. Two of those people lost everything. Two of those people gained everything. The difference? Not their circumstances, their choices. If you've ever been treated like you're worthless because of how you looked, this story is for you. If you've ever helped someone knowing you'd get nothing in return, this story is for you. If you've ever wondered whether kindness matters when nobody's watching, this story is for you. Share this if you believe everyone deserves basic human dignity. Comment below. Have you ever been judged by your appearance? Subscribe for more stories where character beats credentials and kindness wins. Because James Mitchell proved that the best test of someone's character is how they treat people who appear to have nothing. And that test is one everyone should pass.